Yeah.
President Biden made history yesterday, becoming the first sitting president in modern times to join a picket line. Biden stood with striking auto workers in Belleville, Michigan, and encouraged them not to give up their fight.
UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too. So, stick with it, because you deserve the significant raise you need and other benefits.
Let's get it!
Let's get back what we lost, okay? Yeah. Wall Street didn't build the country, the middle class built the country. Yeah. Unions built the middle class. Yeah. That's a fact.
President of the United States working a picket line yesterday in Michigan. Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin of Michigan. She also is a candidate for U.S. Senate. Congresswoman, thanks for being back with us this morning. What is your sense of where things stand in the auto workers' strike, and what impact the visit from the President of the United States may have had yesterday?
Yeah, it's definitely a busy week. We have Trump in Michigan today. We had Biden yesterday. I mean, I think it was a really strong showing, obviously a historic moment, but I think also just a really important moment, because I think the UAW strike, at least in Michigan, has become a proxy for, do people in the skilled trades, in manufacturing, get to be in the middle class? That's what the fight is about. And I think we've seen some progress in some of the negotiations. UAW Canada just sealed a deal with Ford, so we're hoping. No one wants a long strike. Literally no one in the world wants a long strike. So we hope that they continue to press forward. And the president's visit, I thought, was really historic.
Congressman Slotkin, good to see you. Jonathan Lemire, the president, when asked by reporters there, said he supported the 40% pay hike that the union workers are seeking. The White House then walked that back, but then when confronted with the transcript, the president actually did say it. They had to walk back the walk back. So they sort of stepped on the message a little bit. But where do you stand right now in terms of the relationship with the labor, not the union leadership, but the rank and file, some of who did break for Donald Trump the last time around? Some of them will be in attendance at the former president's rally today. Do you think the message from the White House has been strong enough for those workers and to win their votes?
Well, I think it's certainly, I mean, having the president of the United States come is, I think, the strongest message you can send from an administration of support. I come from one of the most unionized districts in the country. And I think while you're right, there's been a mixed bag on voting. There is no dispelling the idea that President Biden hasn't done real things for labor. And while Donald Trump likes to message this and, is going tonight ostensibly to support the strike, but is going to a non-unionized facility, while President Biden has done real things to actually help workers and put in Buy American requirements, created manufacturing jobs. So I just think the debate is really like, one guy supports in deeds and one guy supports in words only. And that, I think, is our job to make clear to people in Michigan and throughout the country.
Yeah, it's certainly worth underscoring that the former president is appearing in a non-union facility tonight. Wanted to turn you to the looming government shutdown. The House started the process on a few spending bills yesterday, but seems like long way to go. The Senate's pushed forward with their own ideas for a continuing resolution. Where do things stand? In your estimation, how likely is a shutdown as the clock really ticks fast?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, just based on, our votes last night until 1:30 in the morning, I think we are heading towards a government shutdown. I do not understand, as a member of Congress, what Speaker McCarthy's play is here. He has, said that he would rather lose his job than take the bill, the bipartisan bill from the Senate, and bring it up for a vote, right? That bill passed with 78 senators, right? So a strong bipartisan majority. It's going to come over here this weekend, but he says he will not bring it up for a vote. He won't compromise with 5 or 6 Democrats to get it passed. So I don't understand the path. And he's given us a master class on how to not negotiate, right? We should learn from this. Everyone should learn from this. He's got himself so pinned into a corner by 5 or 6 members of his party that it's either keep the government running or lose his job. And he's choosing keeping his job over the country.
So from your perspective on the inside, you think there's going to be a shutdown at midnight on Saturday?
I I mean, I think that's what we're headed towards right now, unless he explains to the world his plan to do what adults do, which is sit in a room, negotiate, and compromise.
Quickly, Congresswoman, before you go, you're running, as I mentioned, for the United States Senate. One of your colleagues potentially would be Bob Menendez, the senator of New Jersey. 24 Senate Democrats now have called for his resignation. I should point out you called for him to resign a couple of days ago before the dam sort of broke in the Senate. Why do you believe he needs to step down?
I mean, look, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but there should be a higher standard for people who are in elected office, especially senior people in elected office. And while he'll have his day in court, I think it's just very important that we realize when our leadership is a distraction to the mission of our jobs, like representing the people of New Jersey, then it's time to do the honorable thing and step aside. And I have no independent view of his innocence or guilt, but we should have a higher standard for elected officials.
Democratic Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin.
Can I ask one question? Elissa, really quickly before we let you go. The guy who might be your opponent, Mike Rogers, a guy who I've always had great respect for, a guy who always held himself out from the madness of Trumpism, a guy who always respected the rule of law for good reason. I was distressed to see over the last week or so a video of him surfacing where he's now trying to sound, like MTG, where he's talking about, attacking the Justice Department, attacking the FBI, attacking the very foundation of our legal system. Has it really sunk to this level? That even people like that, who used to be voices of sanity, have now started attacking America's rule of law?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, I think what struck me is I'm someone who's done bipartisanship events with Mike Rogers in the past, but to go out as a former FBI officer and completely trash your home agency and to talk about how biased they've become, it was stunning for me, and I think for a lot of national security professionals who always feel like our profession is it should be above politics. It was really hard to watch, even though we're in a competitive election.
Really hard
Democratic
to watch.
Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin of Michigan, thank you very much. We appreciate your joining us this morning.